Always got my eye on the courtroom, and you know what? When something important happens there, I tweet it here. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. The address is simple. It's just my name. Follow me at Vinnie Politan.
Do you think Dr. Murray's greedy?
Do I think?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Do you have an opinion about whether he is?
If this man had been greedy, excuse me, Judge, if this man had been greedy, he never would have come to an area or community of acreage home, 75% of them poor, on welfare and Social Security, where he was making less than where he was in Vegas.
I love her. Ruby Mosley, my new favorite witness in the case. She took the stand yesterday to defend Dr. Murray and may have changed some jurors' perceptions of who Dr. Conrad Murray is. All right, outside the courthouse, we got Ted Rowland. Inside, we've got CNN producer Alan Duke. Alan, let me go to you. What impact, ultimately, do all these character witnesses have, these folks who came into the courtroom and told us all about a completely different Conrad Murray?
Well, the ultimate impact will be known when the verdict comes. Immediate impact, there's no doubt these jurors are intrigued by how Dr. Murray, after being portrayed by the prosecution as being incompetent and greedy, would have these patients who are so dedicated and committed to him, especially, well, all five of them really, saying he saved our lives. He didn't charge us deductibles. He didn't charge us for any care, and he spent a lot of time with us. All things contradictory to what Michael Jackson's experience seemed to be the last day, according to the prosecution. Well, it humanized the doctor and made him seem like a competent cardiologist. But the prosecution, of course, could be very effective in arguing away that, saying, well, he wasn't practicing as a cardiologist when he was working with Michael Jackson that day.
Yeah, competent, compassionate. Ted Rowlands, this is one of the problems the defense has had throughout their case, is that every witness they put up there, while they help the defense, is like a double-edged sword. And with these character witnesses, the downside is all the care and competency that they got, Michael Jackson did not get.
Yeah, absolutely. And Walgren has been effective in reminding the jury of that. And, you know, even the little things, when Mosley was on the stand, you know, he brings up the girlfriend. That may have gone over the line in some people's minds, but what it did was it reminded the jurors of the other Conrad Murray. And he did that effectively, and I think he'll do it with the addiction specialist today. They'll try to get out of this addiction specialist that one of the effects of coming off of Demerol is sleeplessness or insomnia. And Walgren, I assume, will get up and say, when someone's coming off an addiction or somebody has a problem with drugs, would you spread those drugs around and leave the room, and things like that. And I think they have that ace in the hole, the standard of care, which has been the theme here. And I guarantee you they're going to harp on it in their close as well. And it's a difficult hurdle for this defense to get over.
Also outside the courthouse, Jane Velez Mitchell, host of Issues, which you can see each and every night, 7 p.m. here on HLN. Jane, as we get closer to the end of this case, it seems like the intensity and the anticipation building outside the courthouse.
Absolutely. The energy level very high here, and you can see some very colorful protesters and demonstrators. We've got everybody from artists to, well, a melange of people. But this young lady, Jeanette, came from Burbank, and you're in the internet world, and you are here studying this case. We're talking about the possibility of an addiction specialist testifying for the defense today. Do you think the defense is going to try to blame the victim?
Absolutely. They've been trying to blame the victim, Michael Jackson, from the beginning. They've tried to bring in the addiction, the finances, and this is not about that. This is about Conrad Murray, you know, being his doctor, being paid as his doctor, and neglecting him. straight out neglecting him. 17 neglect. I mean, how do you leave somebody that you're supposed to be right there by their bedside and you're just leaving them? I don't care. I mean, it's Michael Jackson, and I've loved Michael Jackson for most of my life. But if it was my sister or brother or even a neighbor, I mean, that's just horrible, and justice needs to be served.
And it's also a way to spotlight the doctor-patient relationship in America today, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, doctors are not held accountable, and there's not enough accountability for the doctors, whether they're serving a superstar or a normal person on the street. And it's just ridiculous.
Well, Janet, very articulate. You are here from Burbank, but you said if you lived in Europe, you would come here anyway. Burbank, not such a far drive, but there is some of the passion, and that was a piece of art you just saw there. Some of the passion from outside court. We're waiting for LaToya, Janet, and Randy. Reby and Joe already inside. We'll keep you posted. Back to you, Vinny.
Thanks so much, Dan. Let's go to Anthony Pope, criminal defense attorney. Anthony, because in this case, the defense has a unique opportunity, right? You represent people all the time, and many times, you know, you've got a criminal defendant who has a criminal history, who has a life that you don't want to put in front of this jury. Conrad Murray is the opposite. I mean, they literally put 5 people on the stand yesterday who say they are living today because of Conrad Murray. Conrad Murray literally saved their lives. That's some advantage, isn't it?
Well, there's no question about it. Look, it's a great defense strategy, and it's something that's required. Really, any competent lawyer, I think, would do it. You want to humanize this man in front of the jury. I don't know whether he's going to take the stand or not. He may not. That's a big decision for the defense. But if he doesn't, then they're not going to hear from anyone other than these 2 experts who are paid by the defense. They're going to hear from a whole host of prosecution experts and witnesses, and everyone really has said the same thing. Conrad Murray didn't do his job, and the man is dead because of that reason. And there's a standard of care that should have been administered. He fell below that, and it constitutes a criminal act in the California Code. How do you overcome that? Well, one of the ways is to try to show that he didn't have any ill intent. He was not at that level of recklessness. That, in fact, he was there. He was monitoring it. It was a very small moment in time in which this occurred.
Unbelievable. All right, coming up, folks, everyone's been talking about this case. I was surfing the internet. I found our next guest.
But then the prosecution calls Nicole Alvarez, and in walks this woman with a big smile and a tank top. How you gonna wear a tank top to court? Girl, you... The thing that was interesting about Nicole Alvarez's testimony is that she seemed really happy to be there. Judge Pastor told her to sit back and relax like he does all witnesses, and she did. My question was, does she realize she's at a manslaughter trial? If she sees him daily and is exposed to this trial daily, it's
unbelievable. Here's what I've been doing, right? I research all the time on the internet, what people are saying about this case, and I came across this video blogger, Stephanie Chavez, or Chavez is her name. She's been following the case since the beginning, and she joins us now live via Skype. Steph, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. First of all, what inspired? Now you're an attorney, correct?
Correct.
So what inspired you to go on the internet and tell the world what you think about this case?
Well, I knew that I would be glued to the trial because I pay attention to all high-profile cases. And so...
We're getting a little bit of... There you go.
And so I just wanted to present my own views and possibly get some feedback in the form of comments.
All right, I want you to do this. I want you to take a listen to Nicole Alvarez in a second. And this is someone, I guess, you did a little bit of an impression on. I want to get your opinion of Nicole Alvarez. Take a listen.
As a professional actress, my daily duties consist of maintaining my instrument, going on several castings throughout town, meeting with different casting directors, and continuing to study and refine my craft.
When you refer to an instrument, what are you referring to?
Myself.
I see.
Myself. As an actor, your instrument is yourself.
All right, Steph, so what did you think of Miss Nicole Alvarez? I mean, what an interesting little moment in the courtroom talking about her instrument. I think we got a little bit of a problem there with the... Steph, we got a little problem with your audio. We're going to fix that, folks. We're going to fix that. In the meantime, this was... let's go. Do we have Jane outside the courthouse?
Yes, we do. I'm right here.
All right,
yes,
let me find you, Jane. Where is Jane? Jane? There she is.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Jane, who has shown up at the courthouse? Has Janet shown up yet?
Janet and Randy just walked in a second ago, and they held hands as they've been doing the last few days. And we did try to ask them the big question, the fear that many of these fans have: are they going to try to blame the victim and put your brother on trial here? And they would not answer that question. And in truth, I don't know if they heard it. It's very loud out here. But I think it's certainly very significant that Janet Jackson postponed some of her concerts in Australia to fly back to be here. It's that important to have a strong family presence in the courtroom. And let's remember, she's a superstar in her own right. It does have an impact on the witnesses taking the witness stand. They know what they're saying if they're testifying for the defense. They're saying it right in front of the superstar, Janet Jackson, the sibling of the victim. Back to you.
All right, we're less than 15 minutes away from live testimony.